There was a bridge strike. This bridge did not fall on its own. This bridge was hit by a tractor-trailer vehicle that was carrying some construction equipment that caused it to fail. Fortunately, nobody was injured, and so I think that's probably the best thing that we could have come out of this situation. City staff, including police and fire, immediately responded as a first response, and of course addressed a lot of the traffic needs yesterday. Today, the bridge remains closed in all directions, and so there's no travel underneath the bridge or over the bridge at this time. We have already had our consulting engineers and our consulting contractors already respond and start doing assessments of the bridge damage today to see how quickly we possibly can reopen to traffic. We're expecting those reports today, and we're expecting those final estimates as well. We have contractors already under contract that could potentially start doing work as early as this evening to start with some of the damage removal. It's expected to take 2 to 3 days, but of course that will be dependent upon some weather. But with that, there's the possibility, after we do some re-inspections of the bridge, that we might be able to reopen traffic to Northwest Expressway next week. So one of our primary focuses is that there is a lot of traffic in the area. There's over 20,000 cars a day that travel May Avenue across Northwest Expressway. There's over 30,000 cars a day that travel Northwest Expressway under May Avenue. So obviously we appreciate the public's understanding as we work this very, very quickly, and the city's commitment to make sure that we get this addressed as soon as possible. The roads are barricaded, so we do ask that those in the area use the detours that have been marked. You still can access Northwest Expressway and the ramps that access May, both north and south, but you might plan for other alternate arrangements because the traffic is still heavy in the area. The city has over 575 bridges in our system. This is one of the bridges. They're maintained by the city of Oklahoma City. They're inspected every other year by a bridge contractor and a bridge engineer. Those are a part of Federal Highway Administration requirements, and it's also done in partnership with the Oklahoma Department of Transportation. There's been a number of requests for the bridge reports, which we'll be able to provide today. The last inspection on this bridge was in August of 2014. At that time, there were some items that were identified for maintenance, but none of those were structural type items. We're talking about deck items, deck repairs. We're talking about some repainting of the bridge, but the rest of those results you'll actually see in that report. We can answer any questions following that as well. So next steps for the city of Oklahoma City. Again, we're looking to move forward with this as an emergency project. That work would be, again, to remove the damaged sections of the bridge, to re-inspect the bridge as quickly as possible, and to open up as many traffic areas as we can. Work will proceed through the next week, and so there are design plans already underway for the repairs. We expect those to take a week to 10 days. There most likely will be an emergency bid to bid out the repairs, and those could take as many as 2 to 3 months, but we'll have a better estimate of time when we can fully reopen all the directions of travel then. I think with that, I'll just open up for additional questions at this time.
How was the determination made to repair versus replace the bridge?
So as the engineers were on site and we're looking at the damages, the bridge was struck on the westbound Northwest Expressway. So at this time, it doesn't appear that there's any damage to the eastbound portion of the bridge on Northwest Expressway over May. So with that, if we find that there are no damages to the unaffected areas of the bridge, we'll be able to reopen the traffic in the unaffected areas. But they're using analysis, they're using surveys, they're doing visual inspections, they're taking photographs, and then they'll run a full analysis to make sure that the bridge is safe before we reopen, hopefully as early as next week. I don't have that information today. That might be something we can update as we kind of proceed. It's just a day in at this time. The bridge is marked. You'll find that on most bridges. You find that on all bridges in Oklahoma City. It was clearly marked at 14 feet 4 inches. There are other bridges in the city that have been hit. Not all of them have been hit that require repair, but every time a bridge is hit, we do an inspection to make sure it's safe before we reopen it.
Can you give us any estimation of how much it will cost? How much it
So the estimate that we have to remove the damaged section is $55,000. Until we get the final design plans in and we can assess all the work that's needed, that's a number that we might be able to share in just a few weeks.
Can you clarify the inspections? You said they happen annually?
Every other year. So inspections are every other year. The city participates with the Oklahoma Department of Transportation on the inspection of all city bridges. Those reports are also then referred to the Federal Highway Department. So, there's an extensive inspection process that is followed by the city, the state, and the federal government. So those reports are published. And again, this one was in August of 2014, and for the open records that have been requested, we'll make sure that we make those available today.
Isn't there
You know, obviously not knowing what the speed of the vehicle was, and it was a heavy semi-tractor trailer, also carrying construction equipment. Obviously, a lot of weight hit it. I can tell you from visual inspection, there are three very, very large beams that are severely damaged. And again, just to reiterate, this was not a bridge that fell on its own. This was hit from the side and caused it to fail. But it could have been much worse, I think. I mean, obviously, with no injuries, I think we come out of this with that as the good news. And again, we're going to work very quickly to repair the damaged sections and get it reopened as soon as we can.
So then to clarify, also you said Northwest Expressway might possibly open as soon as next week.
If we actually can get the completed removals over the weekend and early next week, and we can get the re-inspections, the answer is yes. We hope to reopen partially or possibly even fully Northwest Expressway next week.
And then we'll know in a week to 10 days how long May will take.
We'll know better what the price will be for the repairs and the extent of the repairs, and we can offer a schedule then at that time.
If you're guessing 15 months.
It could be that long, yes.
Now, this isn't the first time that a truck has had issues with this bridge. Are there going to be any changes moving forward to make it more clear what the clearance is?
So at this time, we're looking to repair the damages and not a complete bridge replacement. So we do not feel at this time that the engineering reports are going to require a full replacement. The bridge may be considered for replacement in the future, and if it were replaced as maybe a part of a future bond package or other project, we would look at the bridge design at that time. Height would be an item, possibly adding pedestrian access, additional lanes. I mean, there'd be a lot of other factors looked at with a replacement bridge, not just its height.
And in the meantime, though, are there going to be perhaps additional markings or warnings about the height or the clearance because there's been multiple issues now?
You know, all the bridges are clearly marked, and I think you'll see from the photographs, there's a bright orange with very large letters, markings on all the Oklahoma City bridges. We will look to see if there's additional markings that are necessary, but we'll make sure the bridge is marked when it reopens.
Is there a map or anything that truckers can look at to map out their route before they take a bridge and possibly to
I don't know the answer for that for sure. I do know that oversized loads, do have to pre-route their deliveries, and so I have to assume that there's some sort of system or service that offers that, but I can't answer that for sure. Yes.
When last time this bridge was struck by a vehicle?
The last time that it was at least struck and required repairs was in 1993. I don't know if an additional strike has happened since then.
Does the city have like an emergency fund for repairs like this?
We do have funding for emergencies. In this case, we do have bond funds that are in an unlisted category that allow us to proceed with emergency repairs like this. So in this case, there is funding available with the City of Oklahoma City to proceed very quickly on the project. Any other questions? So I think what you can expect this afternoon is we have an additional press release, or at least an additional update that you can expect this afternoon with a few of the other details. We'll be responding to the open records requests that have been made. We'll try to do that very, very quickly. As we get more updates, say in the next few days, as we finish the demolition and we start to re-announce the reopening of any of the directions of travel, we'll be doing that just through our media office, through Christy Yeager and PIM. So, thank you very much.